As Chief Operating Officer of Valley Economic Development Corporation, Alex Guerrero's primary responsibilities are to provide day-to-day oversight of the entire organization. He is also responsible for supporting the implementation of the strategic plan as adopted by the VEDC Board of Directors. Mr. Guerrero joins VEDC at a time of tremendous growth as organization expands into Nevada, Salt Lake City, Chicago, and the New York tri-state area. Alex comes to VEDC from his previous position as the Executive Vice President of Tower General Contractors, where he was a vital part of their success. During his tenure, the company was ranked among the fastest growing companies by the Los Angeles Business Journal and first in best places of work by the San Fernando Business Journal. While at Tower General Contractors, he directed the company's growth to one of the top general contractors in California, overseeing construction of the Columbia Space Shuttle Museum, renovations to the Beverly Hills City Hotel Hall, expansion of the Gibson Amphitheater, and reconstruction of the iconic theme building in LAX. Wow. So Alex is very involved, as you see, in Los Angeles civic duty and active in several nonprofit organizations, including sitting on the board of directors of the Valley Presbyterian Hospital, West Los Angeles County Boy Scouts of America, and Valley Community Clinic. He is passionately involved with Grace Save, an adoption and support group which saves former racing or otherwise abandoned or unwanted greyhounds from race tracks in Mexico. Interesting. So Mr. Guerrero is a graduate of the University of California's School of Business, and he and his wife Roberta live in Canyon Country with their two children, one of who is here, Adrian, and so it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Alex Guerrero.
Thanks you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And it sounds lofty. I tell you, when I get home tonight, my wife will still say, "Don't forget to take out the trash, big shot." So it's just the way it goes at home. And my office sent that over to Mel this week, and I'm glad as I started to read it, especially in this room, because I'm really don't know what I got there, by the way. I'm like-minded, and as I sat through the meeting, I started thinking, I'm trying to live, and I'll get into business here in a second, a lot like you guys are living, and I'm glad that my office sent over some of my personal, endeavors. I do sit on the board of Valley Presbyterian Hospital. My wife and I are Los Angeles County foster parents. There's a lot I'm trying to do to affect the community, so I'm glad that made it on there, and it wasn't just about business. And it's USC, by the way, because that's important to me, because I'm a Trojan as opposed to...
I read that, but I wasn't going to correct her, because I'm a Bruin.
Me too.
I have a lot of statistics as the Chief Operating Officer of VEDC. We call it VEDC because we've started to grow so much that in New York City, people are like, what valley? What does that mean, Valley Economic Development Center? So like AT&T rebranded itself to AT&T, we started to try to do the same thing. So I'll give you a quote, and I'll just kind of tell you this, and then I'm going to come off it for a second. This is from the Los Angeles Times, September 19, 2014. Once saluted as America's great suburb, the San Fernando Valley has fallen on difficult times. This is business related. Nestle USA announced last month that it would close the Chatsworth plant where Hot Pockets frozen sandwiches have been made since 1988 as it moves production to Kentucky. Not far behind, Sunkist Growers is moving out of the 4 decades in the valley, leaving its Sherman Oaks headquarters and heading to Santa Clarita. And there's a long list of other businesses, right? So that sounds daunting. I'm going to leave that there for a second and tell you I have deep roots in the San Fernando Valley. My parents came here from South America in 1966. I was the first person born in America. They came here to give us a better opportunity, and it turned out that way for us. I'm really grateful to them. My parents bought their first house in 1970 in Arleta. They paid $20,000. And I don't know what's more surprising to me, that you can actually buy a house for $20,000, or you can be a seamstress and buy a house. Buy a house, own a house, not be perpetually paying a mortgage like me. But that's the valley that I grew up in. I'm a proud graduate also of Hazeltine Elementary School in Van Nuys and Canoga Park High School in Canoga Park, and all that really shaped my love for this valley and for the businesses that are here. It's the bedroom community. There's over 2 million people that live here. and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that live here as well. VEDC's vision, enriching communities by making small business dreams a reality. And our mission, to create and sustain jobs and businesses in our communities by providing high-quality small business development services. So it's true that big business may be leaving the valley. But you know, the valley and the city and the county and the state and this country are all about small business. The backbone of America is small business. The U.S. Census tells us that 80% of all businesses in America have 20 or less employees. 60% have 4 or less employees. As I drive down the street, I don't drive down past Facebook or Google or Hewlett-Packard, right? I drive by a shop that fixes my car, a Taekwondo dealership, a Taekwondo studio, a toy store, right? You look at everything we drive up and down. You can go from here all the way down to the 118, and it's all small business. That's what drives us, and that's what I love about my job and what we do. I'll tell you that throughout its history, VEDC in 37 years has assisted more than 98,000 businesses in creating and retaining over 27,000 jobs, opening over 1,700 new businesses, and graduating nearly 3,000 individuals from the Entrepreneur Training Program. So we provide banking to the unbankable, basically. Before you can go to and name the big bank, before you can get there, if you can't get there, you can go through us. We'll help you with education, we'll help you with loans, we'll figure out a way to help you grow your business. And then we can turn you over. We're happy to make you bankable. We're happy to turn you over to one of the big banks. So I started with that LA Times story. That was the headline from it from a few weeks ago. But I'm happy to tell you that small business, it being the backbone of this valley, have figured out a way to juggle the balls, to keep the plates and the saucers going, to keep the cups moving. You know, there's entrepreneurs in here. You know that the rules are different. The rules have changed over the years, but at least we know what the rules are, right? And we're figuring it out because that's what's in our fiber. So who's starting a business in the valley at the moment? Well, women and minorities account for 51.8%. And we're seeing a growing number of veterans starting businesses. Many veterans are looking to start their own business today. The latest census shows that 350,000 veterans in Los Angeles County are wanting to start businesses, and VEDC wants to help them. We want to show them how to start a business, and what we're doing is on all loans to veterans, we're waiving all origination fees. So to get into the loan, you know, we're making sure it's a free loan going into it, right? In terms of the Valley trends, and this is really what I wanted to share with you right here. In the last 2 years, VEDC has lent over $4 million to businesses in the San Fernando Valley. Pretty evenly spread amongst food service, restaurant, professional services, manufacturing, and retail. The average loan, $275,000. There's a lot of growth in this valley for entrepreneurs. What the lending department, my lending department is reporting to me is that the businesses that have survived and the businesses that are growing here are now more sophisticated. It used to be, I'm going to call it the go-go era, but it was when everything was just, the economy was going like this, that you didn't have to be a good manager. It was just happening for you. And so what has happened is the strong have survived now. So I believe those sitting in this room running a business know more about their financials, know more about the money coming in and out of the door, know about their cash flow, understand, can have a conversation with bankers about their business, and they understand their business, right? In the last year, VEDC has hit new milestones. We've lent $20 million to 403 small and micro businesses across the country and supported the direct creation of 1,084 jobs and retention of 1,415 jobs, something we're really proud of. As a certified community development financial institution, VEDC's mission is to help create jobs and promote economic development in underserved communities. Microloans range from $1,000 to $50,000. Small business loans range from $25,000 to $700,000. SBA 7A, including Community Advantage, is up to $2 million. VEDC has 37 years of experience, as I told you. We offer workshops here in the valley. So it seems that as the economy gets more difficult, businesses here in the valley, like I said, become much more sophisticated, right? They're really watching the bottom line. We're doing everything we can to help them. They're creating jobs. What's really interesting to me is that I started with that headline from the LA Times, and we should be concerned about that. We should be concerned that big business is leaving the valley, it's leaving Los Angeles, they're going to Louisiana, they're going to Texas. The governor of Texas is more a business development officer than the governor. He's here, it's driving us crazy, he's coming to Los Angeles and he's taking our businesses. But unemployment in the San Fernando Valley is slowly going down, which is interesting. And so to me, that means that small business is carrying the load. It's small business that's starting to employ. You know, there's a statistic out there is if all small businesses in America hired one person, we wouldn't have unemployment. This is the power of small business. It's so important that the federal government decided to have a whole agency, it's called the SBA, right, dedicated to small businesses. It's one problem we don't need if small business doesn't achieve what it needs to achieve. And that's my 10 minutes on the state of the valley. I'm going to stop there to see if we have any questions moving forward. It's more than 3, less than 20, but yes.
What do you feel about this minimum wage increase?
And so we've taken a neutral position on it, right? And so there's two arguments, right? There's an argument that minimum wage causes the recipient of the increase in minimum wage to spend the money locally. That person is not going to go, and minimum wage recipient does not go and spend it in Paris, as an example. That they spend it locally. So that's one argument. And then the other side, of course, is that it's costing a business owner more money to pay, right?
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't cost me more money because I have to hire people that are trained in my specific area, and my people make far more than that, even that minimum wage. But to hire a young kid out of school, that's a tough amount of money to be willing to give out.
And so this is my second career. My first career, I was a construction executive, and came across the same situations, which was I could pay somebody, probably anybody, anything I wanted, but you get what you pay for, right? I mean, that was my experience in construction. Similar to your experience, probably similar, you say the same thing about a CPA. Also for new people coming out of college, I've had that problem in my last career and in this career, right? They're trainable is what they are, right? I was just telling a story the other day. When I was in college, I interned at various Wall Street firms. I thought I wanted to go work on Wall Street. And I also had a night job because I had to make money. And the reason for that was that my internships paid zero. That was when you were begging people to let them come work. Can I come work for free for you? Now you got kids coming in for summer jobs. They want to make $18 an hour, And I'm like, to file papers? Is that really? And now I feel like I'm the old guy going like, when I was your age, I wanted to work for free to come, right? And so, yeah, it's tough. Things are so expensive right now. I mean, I know my mom made a minimum wage. She was able to buy a house, we didn't have a lot, but we had what we needed, And so, why is it that we could do that then and we can't do that now?
I mean, housing's out the window.
It's out the window.
It's the biggest problem.
It's crazy.
And that's creating suppression in people's spending as well, because between housing, gas being $4 or $5 an hour, et cetera, people don't have discretionary income to spend. So I feel like people are trying to take the easy way out, I'd say, and increase minimum wage, which I think is going to. I hope it doesn't hurt jobs. I hope it doesn't put people small businesses out of business, and things like that. I mean, it's going to be a wait and see game, I think, more than anything.
Agreed. And from our perspective, we see all models working. And I can point to the gelato store in Northridge who has chosen to not pay minimum, to pay more, and it works out for them because they feel that they, as an entrepreneur, they need to be able to leave their shop and leave their hands in the capable hands of somebody, and that maybe costs more for them, and so, yeah.
But I think it should be more up to the business and less to the government.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to hear that you're a foster parent.
Oh.
What got you into that?
So So I'll give you the direct answer, okay? And I don't know, you know, sometimes when I say these things, I don't know how it's going to be received, but I was walking through my house one day, and I thought, it's impossible that I have a house with extra bedrooms just so I can have another man cave. And I thought, you know what I mean? Like there's got, and so that leads maybe more towards my personal beliefs and why I have things and why they come to me, and then I must give it back, right? And so that's where it started. And then, you know, my life is a series of coincidences. And so I'm at dinner with my wife and a friend of mine who had just earned her PhD, and she had gone to work for UCLA, but she was working on a special project with the county, and she was working with foster children. And she said, you know, you guys would be great foster parents, she says to me. And I was like, that's interesting, because we were just talking about this the other day, right? And so if I give you more about it, my son Adrian, I adopted him. And so, he's looking at me like, what? and his sister as well. You know, they came to us as little ones, and that's my little buddy. Yeah, I love him to death. So that's one of them.
I have a business question. So can you give us examples of the types of businesses that are developing in the San Fernando Valley? And I'm curious as to what kind of skills our youth are going to need to.
Yeah. Okay, it's all over the map in the San Fernando Valley. It really is, because it's almost the strong must survive. That's where we're at now, you know, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the strong survive. So I was kind of alluding to it before, which is that when times were really, really good, I mean, there was a time you could buy a house and you just knew it was going to double in value, right? Now you need a little more sophistication in buying a house. Is it the right area? You know, we're asking all the right questions. It's not just buy. So I'm saying that for a specific reason, which is to say, same thing with businesses. You know, business owners are starting to say, what kind of business can I open here that will make me money? And it's not that easy. It's, you know, what can I do if I know recycling as an example, and I want to do that? What kind of contracts can I get with the city? What kind of contracts can I get with other municipalities? What kind of contracts can I get with businesses? What can I do to start? And I'm giving this specific example because we just recently helped somebody in recycling, right? And these kind of questions we were asking them, and they were wondering, and it was actually happened to be woman-owned. And so she says, what kind of contracts do you think I can get with that certification? And I asked the question, are you actually certified as a woman-owned business? She said, not yet. And I said, well, you got to go do that, because it's not enough just to be a woman who owns the business. You must be certified as a woman who owns the business, right? A lot of restaurants. A lot of things geared towards kids right now. So a lot of taekwondo, a lot of after school, you know, taking care of kids after school. A lot of gymborees, if you know what that is, right? Because what's also happened is we as parents need help now, right? Because we both have to work. Mom and dad have to work. We only have 2 kids as opposed to 6, which our parents had, 6, 8, right? We have less, but we still seem to need more help. So what else are we seeing? A lot of restaurants. Yeah, a lot of service. Yeah, and so what's really, really interesting, and I'll make a left turn, but kind of along your lines, is that it's always amazing to me how far a micro loan can go. You know, so you think $5,000, what does that get you? Well, you know, that gets the beauty shop 5 of the big hair dryers and a new counter in front, and all of a sudden you've employed 2 people with $5,000. You know, yeah. And so it's the power of the micro loan. Not a lot of money in micro lending, but it's part of what we do because it's mission driven and we're a nonprofit. So yeah. So
Great.
I don't know if that answers your question.
It
That's
does,
one more thing we're seeing a lot of doggy daycares.
Yes, yes.
Right, because our dogs are like our kids. We have a lot of dogs at home too, and on the way to work, we want to drop it off at Canine Lofts, who we helped.
Or if we go on vacation.
Go on
we need
vacation.
that
Yeah,
service,
definitely.
yeah.
That's definitely.
Exactly.
It's $30 a day for.
Oh, wow.
Which is
Small business.
yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How do you work around the country from here? I mean, how do you do?
We open offices there. So
yeah.
I actually have to back up and kind of give you more of the story, which is that there's a need to help small businesses, and every major bank in America knows that. They actually need to check that box off anyways, right, with the CRA credits. And so almost all of them have come to us, and others like us, to say, we'd like to deploy money to small business, but it's not our expertise. You know, they're doing bigger deals. We're going to give you the money, VEDC, You're going to lend it out. We're going to split it, okay? We did it well. We did it well in the Valley when we were Valley Economic Development Center. Then we did it well in the city, and then we started to grow. And then our strategic partners, the major banks, said, you're doing it well here. What's the reason you can't do it for us in Chicago? And we said, well, we can. And they said, okay. And this is kind of interesting. So in Chicago, we're in a beautiful high-rise building, which is probably not what you think where you would find a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But our strategic partner there, a major international bank, has said, on the 17th floor, we'll give you 400 square feet. Do what you need to do there, right? And then same thing in New York, which handles Connecticut and New Jersey for us. And now the same thing in Miami, which we're getting ready to open. We're doing our first loan in Miami. It's a need. It's a partnership with an international partner who has asked us to do it. And then it's 3 to 4 employees in every city. And then remotely, things are amazing nowadays. You know, we have conferences where I can see everybody's face in my conference room, and it's like, you know, everybody's in the room. It's really, technology is amazing nowadays, you know. And it's a lot of miles for our chief executive who is at 30,000 feet and flying to all these cities, so that's how we do that. Yes, sir.
Great, we have one more
You
question.
mentioned that Nestle was moving out to Tennessee. That kind of makes sense.
Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky. Why did Centris go up to Valencia? And what's
I don't know the answer to that. I just know they're leaving, and I know that building right over here, which I grew up, right, because I used to go to this mall, the mall right next door, right? And my sister, when she was in high school, worked at Bullock's, which is, I don't even know if Bullock's even exists anymore. It doesn't gone long gone. And so that building to me was always iconic. I don't know why they left and went to San Antonio.
What the VEDC could have done to keep them?
You know, we concentrate on small business, and so, you know, I don't know if they would really even need a loan from us, but I think, I heard the other day a lot of city council members talking about that they had made every effort to try to get them to stay. Now, the mayor will tell you that he has now brought somebody in to make certain that doesn't happen anymore, because what a lot of the chief executives are saying, so Toyota's gone, as an example, right, from the South Bay. That chief executive, or the chief executive for the region, said, nobody ever called me. Nobody ever called me from the city. Nobody ever invited me to a dinner or an event. Like, nobody, I've been here how many years and nobody ever said anything, and now I'm leaving and you guys want me to stay. So part of it really, I think, which we all know from business, is you got to get to them quickly and tell them, you know, I appreciate you, I appreciate your business, you know, you got to treat them with respect, right? And so what the mayor has said is he now has somebody in place to do that. Czar, I think, is what they call them. But it seems logical, doesn't it, to say, hey, you employ 30,000 people, what can we do to help? But that's our city, right? I can't even get them to come out, whatever. Yeah.